What's up, guys? This is Fun's Really Failhand. Today we have another interview with WhiteWolfHunter. Say hi.
Howdy. Howdy. Thank you for letting me join you on your show. It's, kind of fun.
Are you sure it's an honor and not a punishment? I can't tell.
We'll see how the interview goes. I mean, I don't know.
Gotcha.
Something like this.
Well, what I'm going to do is it's going to
be
be different questions, kind of in the same format as the previous interview. I'm going to start asking you the easy stuff, then the medium stuff, then the hard stuff, like, you know, what do you think needs to be nerfed, what's unbalanced, so on and so forth. So, if you think you can handle that, we'll get right into it.
I will certainly give you the best answer
Right
that I
on.
can come up with.
Okay, so first question. How long have you been watching the channel?
Actually, my first video was the one you did with my brother.
Oh, right on.
72, and then he directed me to the World of Tanks tank interview.
Oh,
so
man.
I've only seen 2 videos.
New. I like it. Fresh. I enjoy this. Okay, this is good. This is good. Okay. So, how did you get into World of Tanks?
Well, there was actually an anime series that came out before the 360 console beta test.
Sure.
A show called Girls und Panzer. Basically, the idea, if you don't know what that's all about, is you take World War II style tanks, high school girls, and make a sport out of it. So I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I saw that they were releasing World of Tanks to the console for beta, and I'm like, oh, this will be, interesting. I like World War II stuff.
Now, do
Like
you
tanks,
own the Girls and Panzer tank?
Whatever. And
Right.
that was kind of my introduction 4 years ago. Yes, I own the...
Okay, all right. And yes,
big
I
tank.
am actually familiar with it, by the way. So, how long have you been playing?
Oh, cool. Well, since the first day of beta. Back
Oh,
on
man.
360,
Okay, so
like
how many
4 or 5
games
years
do you
ago.
have, like, total?
About 76.
No, you don't have to take a
Let me
look
take
at
a
your
look at my
stats. Just
stats.
give me a ballpark.
Overall, my 75...
Okay, so
75,
you've been here a while. You just don't have a ton of games like the rest of us. Sure,
I just kind of play for fun. I'm not really
you haven't fallen down the
competitive
hole of
gamer.
must play all the time. That's a good thing.
not
got
like
you.
not like my brother. He plays this game a lot. He probably
So
has
next
way
question.
more battles than I do.
Do you use a mic when you play? And if so, what kind?
Yes, I use a mic when I play, but I'm usually communicating with my friends
Sure.
or brother when we do platoons. We rarely ever go into game chat because lately there haven't really been anybody to talk to. Everybody's either platooned up and talking to their own party or whatever, and I just use the
Sure.
standard mic, whatever.
Sure.
goes to
Well,
their spot.
there's nothing wrong with that if
Kinda
it
cheap
works.
that way.
I've used one of those for a while.
I mean, I remember a time back on the beta. I remember back on the beta when everybody was in game chat
Yeah,
communicating.
right. Exactly. I
you don't see
had
that
a
too often
high dollar
anymore.
pair of Turtle Beaches. They covered both ears, and I could not hear when my wife
Mhm.
was trying to talk to me, and she was not a fan of that, so she bought me a one-eared one. Yeah, I've got like 3 of them. Moving
Yeah,
on,
I don't-
sorry. They're good, yeah.
I like
yeah,
the one-eared
They're
ones
good.
myself.
If you
I
like
one-eared
to not
ones
get yelled at
myself.
by your wife. Moving on. What is your favorite map? Pick anything, old or new. Okay.
I really like city battles. I forget the name of the map, but it's the one that depicts
Siegfried
Berlin
Line?
the most. No, not that one.
Himmelsdorf.
It's the one where it's got the castle and
Yes.
then the railroad tracks.
Okay, right on.
Himmelsdorf, yes.
It's a good map.
I really like that one.
Used to see it a lot. Sure.
But it also depends on what tank I'm running. mostly I run heavy, so I kind of
Sure.
like, corridor fighting. But if I'm, using a TD or a
Well, right.
artillery, I
Makes
like open
sense.
maps.
Next question. Square or circle radar, and why?
I like the full map radar. You can see everybody where anybody's at.
Exactly.
You can help them out accordingly. I don't really like the little one because it just like shrinks it and
It's
you
like
only
looking through a
see
peep. Yeah,
what's,
it's like looking through a
I don't know,
pinhole.
like 5 or 6 blocks. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or you got like
Exactly.
blinders on,
It
whatever
is
they call
definitely
it,
tunnel vision.
tunnel
I
visioning.
know a lot of the old guys who've been playing this game for a while. They still use that, and these are guys with ridiculous win 8, and it's just what they've always been used to. That's typically how that goes down. So, what is your favorite tank?
Well, I'm going to hope. Pardon me for saying this, but I'm actually more centered around
Okay,
a
well, tell me
particular
about it.
nation more than just one tank. I am a
German line, sure.
line player.
No way.
I
Right
only
on.
own German tanks. But unique to me is I only play historic tanks. I refuse to touch any tank that was a prototype or never built tank.
Sure.
I'm very stickler about that. The most tank, I kind of bounce between the Tiger 131, the Tiger 2, and the Ferdinand.
So between those three, and you only run
Those are
things
my
that
most plays.
were actually saw combat, correct? Right on.
Yes. I'm a big World War II nut. I've done my research into those tanks, and it's kind of hard to balance realism and fun in a game like World of Tanks because they are basing everything off of schematics or real world what happened. Kind of hard to do that with prototype tanks that never saw combat, so they're only guessing by what was on.
And I don't think in World War II they had nerfs or buff either. Okay, so what is your least favorite tank? Not that you go up against, that you own. Sure.
I don't usually play artillery. I don't usually play artillery because I don't really like standing still very much. I'm not a very patient person.
Sure.
I like to be
up in
right
the mix.
Up in the fight. As far as the least played nation or don't like would be either France or China or Japan. I forget which one.
And why is that?
I don't like them either. French tanks, they're squishy. They just don't play like a true heavy or any tank I've ever played. And China and Japan, they're just weird. I haven't fiddled with them enough to, get a base opinion of it. I mean, like I said, I'm a German
Next
heavy.
question kind of ties into the previous question. What tiers do you normally run? Which I guess that would possibly be 7 and 8s, correct?
6, 7, 8. Sometimes if my friends, trying to grind for a certain tank, I jump down to
all right.
3, 4, 5.
Next question. How much money have you spent on this game?
Well, between a 4.5-year period,
If you had to
too
ballpark
much to remember. As you said in your last video,
if you had to ballpark it.
Oh gosh.
All right. Well, that's
over $1,000.
That's still not too bad compared to me.
Over a 4-year period, so.
Okay, that's not. Now,
I mean, I'm sure it could be more than that, but I don't.
Follow-up question: is that primarily spent on converting XP, or is that on premium tanks?
It was kind of like just either to get money because I was trying to, customize tanks for equipment or free XP or periodically.
I got you. So primarily it was silver.
Like the hammer.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Primarily it was silver, and then after that it was a kind of a mix between premium and XP. I got you. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what do you think the most OP thing is in this game?
Like as far as tanks wise concerned, or you
Well,
like
no,
physics, mechanics?
let's definitely
Because as far as like
let's definitely do
overpowered
tanks.
thing in the game,
I feel some type of way about physics.
um, well, it depends on the tank. If you're talking about like armor or offensive stats, I mean, you know, the Death Star obviously is
Everybody's
one of the most
go-to.
heavy-hitting tanks out there that will mess you up. Yes. As far as defense-wise, the mouse was one of the heavier ones until they introduced the Japanese or the Chinese heavy
Japanese.
line. I think it was the Type 5 heavy
Sure.
and the STV-1.
Okay, so the Moss or the D-Star, or a combination of both, the most OP. I got you.
Yeah.
So, now, what tank or tank class do you think takes the most skill to play properly?
I think artillery.
Okay,
and
why do you think
tank
that?
destroyers take the most skill. Artillery, obviously, for patience, and you got to know distance, how long it's going to take for your shell to hit, depending on the size of the map. Know the way players play, like just kind of predict what
Sure.
they're doing, and land a shot accordingly, and how your tank plays, the tank vertical up and down thing, like, where to
Sure.
sit and where to hide or whatever. TD's kind of the same way. You have to know your cover, where you can go to protect yourself and keep yourself hidden, and know what you're shooting at, how your tank plays, your gun, the
Absolutely.
equipment. I think those are the hardest ones to play. Light, mediums, and heavies, you just kind of, they're basically generally what they describe doing. Lights, run around, scouting, being a nuisance. Mediums, you're pack hunters. You just, run with groups, just peck away at enemies. Heavies are brawlers. And depending on the heavy, depends on what you're doing. I mean, if it's, like a French heavy, you're not even a heavy.
I like it. I can
You're a
see it.
wannabe
I can
heavy
definitely
medium.
see it. In your opinion, what is the most broken thing in the game?
Prototype tanks, actually. Because you can't really know what the tank was, how it was actually going to perform, because it was never built. So you're going off of schematic.
So those are like, that's like
balancing
80%
reasons,
of the tanks in the game.
of course,
then.
and then,
Because the vast majority of these tanks weren't mass produced. Yeah. Okay.
so it's kind of hard to, like, understand
Sure.
truly how they worked, because they never saw combat. Yeah, they're cool tanks. Theoretically, they, balancing-wise, they do okay, but if you pitted
Sure.
historical tanks against each other, Germany would win hands
Assuming
down.
they could, their industry could keep up, and assuming they could defend against
Well,
Allied air support, but that's
true. I mean, as far as tanks-wise concerned, the only thing that they had to worry about, Germany had to worry about, was the
sure.
Russian IS.
You always have to fear the derp.
I mean, the British tanks and the American tanks were just, crap. They mass-produced them just to throw at the tank, hoping that one of them would
So,
kill it.
next question. If you could add anything to the game, what would it be?
Kind of like what the other guy said before. Bigger maps, bigger players. I think adding a commander into the game to kind of like, organize, like
You mean
battle
like a
commander
caller?
to tell people what it. Yeah. like he would organize where to go, who to help out, you know, kind
Well,
of
the downside is
oversee the battle and communicate. I think that's one of the big things about World of Tanks is that to ensure victory, you need to communicate with your teammates.
It doesn't happen,
That does
and
not
you
really
also
happen.
have to understand there's going to be a language barrier. There's going to be kids. There's going to be people who just want to do their own
Yes.
thing. So, yeah, we may be a while off from that.
But I mean, bigger maps, you know, more players, that'd be awesome. I mean, these tanks were designed
Sure.
to have bigger maps. You're too clustered on the size of map that is, and at 15 versus 15 already, you really can't, you know, go anywhere.
That's
without
very
being
true.
spotted
That's
more than
very
5 minutes
true.
per game. So a bigger map would, you know, put these tanks through the ringer to actually see how well they actually did. I mean, the Tiger 131, 88 millimeter anti-tank gun. It was actually designed as a flak gun because it uses a high
Sure.
velocity armor piercing round to destroy aircraft. Bring that thing down to a 90-degree angle, you're shooting at targets well over
Absolutely.
a mile away and they still can pen without losing its
It's an
muzzle
impressive
velocity.
tank, nonetheless. So, in closing, is there anything you would wish to say to everyone watching?
Just have fun and don't rage. I mean, work together and do your
Fantastic.
best.
Excellent closing statement. Excellent closing statement. Guys, really hope you guys enjoyed this. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And who knows? We may have more interviews in the future. See you guys next time.